So first, a little bit about the transition period. So the term transition refers to the period, the process of a cow not producing milk, either as a heifer or a dry cow, then calving and starting to produce milk. So the transition period was traditionally the 3 weeks prior to calving and the 3 weeks following calving. However, research has shown that you really need to look further back than those 3 weeks. So now we're typically looking at the cow physiology to 60 days before calving and the 30 days after, since that has an impact on how the cow will perform. So the total period is a 90-day window that makes up the transition period. So why is this important? Within the 2 days after cow calves, the energy needs of a cow more than double. So with that, there's a lot of metabolic stress that is associated with the increased energy demand, and that can be pretty dramatic impact on the animal. So how does this cow handle the stress and moves through that 90-day transition period influences her production, health, ability to become pregnant again, and an end result, will she stay in the herd? So how does a farm prevent transition cow problems? Well, we first have to reduce the amount of time the cow spends with a negative energy balance, and to do that the cow needs to eat and increase her feed intake. So we have to maximize how much the cow can eat, her feed intake, and early lactation. And we need to make sure she takes enough calories to balance the scales. So aspects that play a role in that could be the amount of room the cow has to eat, how much room there is in the pen that she's housed in, obviously the feed itself through the ration, any feed mixing, the feed delivery, the ability for her to get access to water, and many other items that impact her feed intake. So how do you evaluate or analyze transition cow problems? So what we will talk about is one way of looking at it, but there's multiple things to look at. So the thing we will be covering is her predicted performance. What do we think this cow should be able to perform and produce versus what she actually did after she calved? The other aspect is fresh cow udder health. Do cows start out with high somatic cell count, potential for mastitis? Then there's the turnover, death rates. Some cows have a very rough start and die, and you like to minimize that. And then there's the dry period analysis, the 60 days prior to calving. How is that working? Are we getting cows managed well through that dry period?